Hi everybody, it is Tuesday, it is 9 o'clock at night, and I thought I would come on and do a very quick explanation. So we obviously would have signed off on Saturday evening after having had a really busy day, all doing all the pre-season prep, everything, all these big plans ahead, how I was going to go in this Sunday and do all the painting and do all the building, but unfortunately I took a bit of a stomach bug, kind of viral infection, and I was absolutely floored to the point where we actually had to close today. Been quite unwell, so obviously we said we would come on and give you the real parts of it all. So the kids have been kind of running wild most of the day, out playing in the sun, enjoying the weather, and I have literally I've managed to eat today, which is the first time since Sunday. The only thing that my body seems to be craving is Coca-Cola. Other brands are available, but it's the only thing I can see. I genuinely, I think I've drank 4 or 5 cans of it today. It's the only thing my body can tolerate just now. I have managed to have one meal, which was a baked potato and cheese, so I have been horrendously unwell. It feels like a hangover with no night before. Hopefully this is me over the other side of it. We can get back to all the normality, but obviously the flip side of that is, with me being out of action for basically 3 days, we've completely fallen behind. The orders are behind. Where we wanted to be with the shop renovations are behind. Everything's just fell behind again, and we've obviously got the house move going on in the background as well, and I have been worse than useless the last 3 days. And with my other health condition, it's going to take me a good few other days just to feel normal again. So that'll be a whole week lost for any moving forward with everything else. But you've got to roll with the punches. Today's tasks was to stay alive and feed the children, and I've managed to succeed that. It might have been takeaways for Stephen and I, and a good old council tea of nuggets, chips and Alpha Bites, but the kids loved it. They had their fruit. They've been basically out all day playing and eating ice lollies, and they've played with quite a few of their friends. They've been round the corner. It's actually really nice to see, because this is the first summer they've really wanted their freedom. They've been out with the garden, out with their eyesight, which has been absolutely terrifying. You just never know when is the right time to let them have that freedom. You know what's out there, you know that you hear the horror stories and you just don't want it to be your kids, but at the same point, they're going to be 8 in October. They need some freedom. They need to go and play with their pals, and it is nice to see. But anyway, I just thought I would very, very quickly come on and do a quick couple of minutes catch up with you guys and just let you know what's been going on. So you won't see any footage from Tuesday, because Tuesday didn't happen. Up until last night I was adamant I was getting up, I was going and doing all these things, but my body said no this morning. I was so unwell. My temperature was up last night. It just was so unwell. So I've listened to my body today. I've took it easy, and I'm going to go and bring the kids in, get them in their jammies and get them up to bed, and I will probably go with them to bed. I did run out to the shop and pick up my order book with full intentions of catching up on the orders, but I genuinely have got horrendous brain fog and I've got no concentration, and I really don't want to have to bully my brain into trying to think and probably getting it wrong. So I'm hoping if I have a good night's sleep. I'm normally up at 7 with the dogs, so once I'm up at 7 I should hopefully be able to go over the orders. There's a figure skate one that desperately needs to be pushed out. Lots going on, and I really didn't need a week's sick time in amongst it all. And the kind of crap thing about it all is I cannot have any time off from my work because my boss is away on annual leave just now, and I'm the only other member of staff in the finance office, so they're kind of relying on me to be there and kind of pick up the slack. So I really need to be in tomorrow and be on form tomorrow. So I really need to get a good night's sleep. So let's hope it's a good night.
Well, good evening guys. It is 6:25 on Wednesday the 13th of August. You might wonder why we missed out Tuesday. It's because Pam was very under the weather. She had been unwell for the last couple of days, and obviously I haven't exactly been feeling the best myself. On Sunday I had a coaching course, and then when I came home from the coaching course the next day I was working in the bus job, and I felt a bit off on Tuesday as well. So we decided that the best course of action was to just have a day off Unfortunately, that let down a few customers who weren't happy, but at the same point, your health has to come first. Unfortunately for the customers, they just had to wait. It's as simple as that. Now, the thing that we're actually having a laugh about today is there's an actual heat wave in Scotland, which you guys abroad or in different countries will laugh at. It's 24 degrees at the moment, but it was 28 degrees in certain places. And for us over here, we're used to Arctic temperatures. We're used to it being really, really cold. And obviously at the moment, it was so warm. As soon as I walked out the house today, I could feel my skin burning. It was that warm. Obviously I wasn't wearing any sun cream because in Scotland you don't necessarily have the need for it unless you get days like today. To catch you guys up, Pamela is in full-scale website work mode. Is that what you're doing at the moment?
Now I'm fixing the mess I made of the till.
Oh, what happened to the till?
So some of the stuff was in the wrong tax category. Some of it had been put into this category that didn't exist, which was charging nothing, no VAT on it. So I had to alter it. But when I altered the tax category, instead of it just changing it into the category and leaving it at, say, £5, it added on VAT. Completely screwed up my till. So I'd like tape that was like 3 times the price it should be. So I'm fixing it.
So that's Pamela's up to date, and my up to date is obviously I haven't managed to get anything done over the last couple of days because I was off unwell, same as Pamela. So we had an incident where I was saying in one of the last videos that we had a customer stand on the Twitch stick, so the stick had to be rebuilt and it's now been refinished. I actually done another version or another coat of varnish or a top coat over the top of it with the resin, so that is it now, ready to go back to the customer. I have a couple of drips that's happened from the resin, but there's nothing I can do with them at the moment other than try to see if I can pick them off. But I think if I pick them off, it may damage the rubber coating or the grip coating. So next thing I have on the agenda, I have another stick. I don't know if you guys seen this before, but we've got another stick that has to be fixed. I'm going to try and see if I can get some work done on that tonight. If not tonight, I'll do that on Friday when I'm in. And then obviously I have a glove that has to be repaired, which is still sitting here. There is a piece of stitching that's burst at the thumb. I'll try and see if I can get that done tonight. Unfortunately, that is not just a quick and easy job. The quick and easy job on this one is having to bust the stitching, remove this part from the glove, then bust the upper stitching all the way around to get access to the actual glove itself, or the thumb itself, and then I'm going to have to sew all that back in place by hand. You can't exactly use a machine for that unless you have the proper machine, and I don't. The next job that I actually have here as well is there's a patch that's going to have to be put on these. You can see just there, that area here, the finger is actually near enough poking through it. So what we're actually going to have to do is it's not just a small patch, it's actually a full palm piece like this one is going to have to be put onto this one. That's at the request of the customer, so I'll get that done as well. We had another pair of steels in from the Irvine Flyers. They are Stevie Andrews steels, who was on the coaching course with me on Sunday, so I've got them to get taken back to training tomorrow night because it is Thursday tomorrow night and I'm on with the Flyers. I think that's me up to date so far, so I'll catch up with you in a little while once I either do a little bit of work or I've done some work. So I started off with the Bauer glove, and obviously these are a relatively brand new pair of gloves, and for the stitching to go on these, it can happen quite often. Again, not a knock on Bauer in any way, shape or form. I've seen this with a lot of different companies, especially in the last little while where things are getting lighter and lighter, so they try and put a little bit less stitching on them. So the situation for this one, as I said, this part of the glove is loose, the stitching has burst and it's going to have to be replaced. But for that to happen, I've had to relieve the stitching on the beading. I've then have to take the stitching off of this part here, which is stitched on to this area here. And now I'm going to have to relieve the stitching that's all the way around there so I can get the speedy stitcher into this area here. So I'll get that done and I'll come back to you guys once I've managed to open it all up and show you what I'm now going to do. So again, this was one of the jobs that Pam thought it was a relatively simple, straightforward, easy repair. But as I've said, so this is a part that's going to be needing stitching. I've had to relieve the stitching there, and now as you can see in here. So there has to have 3 areas have to be removed, or the stitching has to be removed from 3 different areas just so I can get access to be able to run a bead of stitching along this area here. For whatever reason, it's just came loose. It must not have caught properly in the finishing process, Most of the time, these palms, they glue them in place first and then they sew them. But with this one, it doesn't feel like there's any adhesive underneath it. So what I'll do is get that done and I'll come back to you once it's finished. Right, so in further inspection of the Bauer glove, what I'm actually finding is the original stitching is so bad on that area that I'm having to replace all of the stitching on this section. There is a little bead of stitching just here that is okay, that has caught, everything else hasn't caught and it's coming loose. So what I'm going to do is try and see if I can get the stitching all the way up and around. It's obviously hard to show you this while I'm in the middle of stitching it, but if you can see just round about here, the stitching obviously goes all the way down into the kind of main part of the glove. I'm going to have to remove all of that and stitch it in all by hand. It wasn't really on the agenda. I thought it was going to be just a quick and easy repair, as Pamela had said, but obviously we know that that's not necessarily the case. Nothing's ever quick and easy if you think it is. Some repairs that do come in, you think, oh, that's only a couple of seconds of worth of work. But there's a lot of stuff that has to fall into place for that repair to actually happen. Like for this, there has to be 3 areas that has to get removed to be able to get into the palm, to be able to do the thumb, and then obviously that's going to have to get done. Once I've done that one, I have the leather pre-cut for the patch repair on the Warrior glove. Try and see if I can get that done tonight as well. It's now 7:20 at night so far, and this one I might have to stay late to do this, or it might have to go on to Friday to get done. So anyway, I'll come back with a further update on the Bauer glove once I've finished. So the time is 8:07. We had a customer come over and collect a pair of skates, which kind of knocked me off schedule a little bit. I was running on time to make sure I could get the Warrior glove done, but I never managed to get that done. So the glove for the Bauer one has actually been done. As you can see, all the stitching is all back in place. We've got new bead of stitching across the top to hold the thumb piece in. We've got new bead of stitching all the way up and round on this part of the thumb to be able to hold that piece in place, and all new stitching round about the back area of the thumb as well. So the glove is now going back to the customer. So happy days with that one. Friday will be a patch repair job, which is more or less just reinforcing the glove. And we got an order in just over the last couple of days when we were actually out of the store. We've got a visor in for Adam, and we also have a set of JRZ steels in for Adam for his skates. So what I'm going to do just now is take the JRZ steels out and make sure that they fit. Now the thing with the JRZ steels, as we can see here, there's a little nodule, or I would call it, or a little piece that you can actually press out of the skate. These are multi-fit steels, so what that then means is it can also fit not just a Bauer but a CCM. It doesn't just fit the normal Bauer holders, it actually fits the fly holders also. So I'll take them out of the box. So while I've taken them out of the box, what I actually did was I went straight ahead and put one into the skate, as you can see. So it just goes straight into a Lightspeed Edge. The reason why it's multi-fit, and I'll show you why, is it's actually meant to fit a CCM skate also, but it also fits the new Powerfly holder. The reason why it fits the Powerfly holder is you can actually see there's a cutout here, and that is the chamfered area of the Bauer steel, which goes into the fly holder. So if you're in a pinch, we usually stock these steels, or we will be stocking these steels going forward. And with respect to these steels, I find them quite good in the sense that they obviously, you only have to have one set of steels that covers 3 sets of skates, which is quite good. Example being, if you're someone who is skating in a Bauer skate and has a brand new pair of CCMs, you can then fire them straight into the new CCMs with the roller holder. So if you've got the roller adjustment holder, then that's fine, that's going to work with them. It also works with the Lightspeed Edge, and it also works with the fly holder. Thanks very much for making hundreds of noise in the background. It's bad enough I've got these fans on. Can you tell Pam's thrilled to be back?
You told me to do a job and now you're criticising me.
I'm not criticising you. I asked you if you needed staff training and how to change a bin, because you haven't changed the bin in here for I don't know how many months. That'll be double like, share, subscribe. So why are you so grumpy?
Because I'm hot.
Because you're hot, or is it just because you're old? Bit of both, exactly. Oh, she's got a knife in my way. Sarcasm is always here. I'm going to make sure that I get these steels in and then they're ready for Adam to come and collect. But I just thought I would show you guys that what I would class as a multi-fit steel, and in my opinion, in this day and age, it's good to have one set of steels that can fit multiple skates. As you can obviously tell, it's 8:15 now. It's time for us to go home. We will see you again on Friday.
Hello everybody, it's Pamela and it's...
Friday.
Hello everybody, I am Pamela, this is...
Stephen.
And
it helps if you point it at me, you're pointing it at the mirror. Hi, hello. Staff training required.
This is Cold-Blooded Sports. It is Friday the...
But what is Cold-Blooded Sports, Pamela?
If you don't know that by now, tough.
No, well, I think you have to tell the new viewers.
So to our new viewers, we are an ice hockey store based in the west of Scotland in the United Kingdom. We are... in Paisley. We are normally open at 12 o'clock and it is 12:27, so we're running very late. There's no excuse, we just couldn't get it together today. I was just going through the plans again for the store. We need to take a trip up to our local DIY hardware store to pick up the rest of the MDF boarding to do the rest of our plans. So we're building another one of these boxes and reinforcing it in the middle because it's kind of sagging already. 2 new benches to go in at the windows, kind of replacing the same style as what's there but bigger and beefier. We've got our new stick rack, which is going to sit here in the middle of the floor. We have our new fridge. Well, it's not a new fridge, it's a current fridge, but it's living at home. It's going to go over here, be filled with lots of juice and fluid things. This is going to be our figure skate wall, and this is going to be all the hockey stuff. Sticks in the middle here, protective all along this wall. Skates along the floor because there isn't really very many other places for them to go. So that is the plan of action for today. We will get on and get this all underway. Well, that's not the plan of action for today, that's the plan of action for the next 2 weeks.
That's Pam's plan of action. I have a plan of action for myself. Just so that you guys know, because Pamela missed this out, it is Friday the 15th of August, it is 12:26. I know she did technically say what the time was, but she's not adapted to this. She's not very adept to this recording yet. She's only been recording for the last year, but she still thinks that, well, it comes very naturally and it doesn't. So she needs more time behind the camera, more time talking to her audience, looking you in the eye, engaging with you instead of engaging with over here while talking to the camera.
I need one of those things that comes from here over to the camera, just bounces in front.
What, a carrot and a stick?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll get you working. Right. Yeah, I know she does. She does lots of work when she can be bothered. Anyway, it's when she can be bothered. Right, so today's jobs for me is I've got some sewing to do. I've got a patch that has to be put onto the gloves. So one of the other jobs that I did, I was looking at the Twitch stick the other day and I've decided that I wanted to do another coating on it. So there now is another final coating on it. So it is now extremely shiny and it's more or less finished. I'm not going to do any more work on this stick at all. It is now being put to the back burner because as far as I'm concerned, it's finished. Next stick that I'm actually working on just now is the Flyers Alpha stick, which is this one, which is broken. As we can see, I've tried to square it off as much as possible. There is going to be work done on this as well. So the other night when I was in, I decided while I was making the resin to do the final coat on the Twitch stick, I used a little bit of the carbon fibre sock and forced that into the area and put some resin in there to hold that in place. That is now giving me a base of using that as a plug to be able to put into one of the new sticks, i.e. this one. So what I will do is get some resin put together and get this put in there and then try and see if we can get this fused together. There's probably going to be some more sock that's going to have to get put over this to make that a little bit more beefier. When you see some of the other companies that do the stick repairs, they actually only use maybe one strand of the carbon fibre sock and then expand it so that it's only just taking up as little space as possible. Because of the break point in this one, I want to try and make it as sturdy as possible and get as much in there as I can. The plan is obviously you put the shaft on and then the resin gets poured down the shaft and then it goes into here and then solidifies in the actual sock. And it needs a couple of days to set for the resin to move. So you're probably, if you pour in, say for example, a couple of millimetre of resin, you're probably talking, just for saying sake, it was half a litre. If you pour in the half a litre of resin, it's going to have to take its time to work its way down the shaft and then go all the way into the blade to be able to solidify and make that stiff. Now we'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, then it's just back to the drawing board for that one. This one is just another trial to see if I can actually get the stick to fix If the player can actually get use out of it, then happy days. If not, then at least we know not to do the kind of repairs again, because that one seems as if it's a very difficult repair. I've got a pair of figure skates that I've got to do just now, and then I'm going to try and see if I can go on to that glove repair. Last night I was training with the Urban Flyers, and I had a couple of friends on that play in the higher leagues. So we had Jordan Blesser, who is now a Solway Shark, and we had Lewis Young, who is now a Solway Shark as well. They were on the training session with us, and obviously with them playing at the higher level, something that we had spoke about was we were obviously trying to see if we could get KYC into a specific league. So it looks like we may be getting KYC into the National League, which is the league below the Elite League. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is last night I took the two sample sticks that we have in the store. We're still waiting on the sticks coming from myself. There was an issue with the mould, which meant that they had to make a bigger mould to be able to accommodate my height for the sticks. So what I actually did was I took the KYC Skyline and the KYC Phantom X down to the training session and let Lewis have a shot of them. Lewis is obviously right-handed, the same as myself, and that's all we've got in the store at the moment is the sample sticks, and Lewis tried them and absolutely fell in love with them straight away. I actually had a shot of the Skyline as well, even though it was nowhere near big enough for me. You're probably talking it was like nearly a foot too small, but when I actually had a shot of it and I shot the puck, just at a shot, I didn't want to hit it too hard just because it was an 85 flex, but it came off hot, and it came off really hot. I mean, flying like lightning. So I'm really impressed with them. Puck feel was actually pretty good considering the fact it's a very light stick. Personally think I preferred the Phantom X, and that's unusual for me because that's a mid-kick stick. When I tried that, I just felt as if I was so much more in tune with the puck and control wise. Obviously Phantom X is going to be the mid-kick stick. The way it's made is that that's a mid-kick stick. You can have them customised and you can have them customised to different kick points. If you prefer the square shaft and you like a low kick, we can have them made for you and a low kick as well. But I think that's something that I'm probably going to be looking at, is going Phantom X and going low kick on them. I thought that the feel was second to none. My litmus test for sticks is the CCM trigger, the trigger 5 specifically, and the reason being is I find that is just it for me stick wise. Anything that can shoot the puck anywhere near as hard as that stick can, you're on a winner. Actually really enjoyed the KYC stick on the ice, although like I said, it wasn't my actual height, it wasn't my curve either. So I'm really eager and looking forward to seeing these custom sticks that are coming in for me. I've obviously got one of each coming at the moment to see what I prefer, but I think I've already made my mind up. I think it's going to be the Phantom X. You'll find that possibly next season, for if you follow the Sharks, Lewis and Jordan will probably be using or will be given some sticks to try, and obviously they can get back to me and let me know how they feel about the usage of the KYC stick. But going on what Lewis said last night, he was really impressed. He was using, I won't name the brand of stick that he was using last year, but it was a very expensive top end stick, and he said that it was rivaled, if not better than that. So I'm really happy with that. Apologies there, we had a customer come in for a couple of sharpmans, and then another customer come in for a sharpman, and then another couple of customers come in. So we were in the process of explaining to you what was going on with orders and stuff like that again. Now again, this is a situation where you think that we might be taking the mickey with us and we're not, so I'll pass over to Pamela and she can explain what is going on, and we'll pick up on the figure skate scenario.
We are Idea specialists. We know how to size them, we know our boots, we are pretty experienced in dealing with the whole brand, all the models, so on and so forth. We've kind of developed a reputation, and rightly so, for the place to go if you're looking for your top model ideas. However, the caveat on that is we can do all width fittings, we can do all models, can size you, we can get your sizes, your scans all sent over to Idea, so we get the right boot for you, which we did for a customer. She ordered her boots in October. She knew exactly what she was looking for and exactly what width fitting. She's not even looking for an unusual width fitting, she's looking for a C width, but she is looking for a piano. And obviously every few weeks I'll email back in, is there any news, is there any production dates? With Idea, when you get told a production date, that's when you know your order will be made. Once the production date comes and goes, you're talking about 2 to 3 weeks after your production date, it should start to be coming into the UK. Once it's in the UK, it becomes available for my customer to pick it up. So we had a very nice customer order a set of pianos in October. I specially ordered them in November. I've been asking since November 2024. When is the production date? Any news on them? When is the production date? Any news on them? I did get a production date for them this week, which is the first time I've had a production date. Now this is the first of my special orders for this last season and this season. Production date is March 2026. The customer, by the time they are in production, will have waited a nice clean 18 months before she gets the pianos. And that's just the pianos. We have an E-fit chorus, we've got 2 D-fit chorus, we've got an E-fit, D-fit fly, we've got a black D-fit fly. So these are all going to be, I don't know, Christmas 2029? Who knows?
So is it specifically just in figure skates that you're having the issue with getting things at the moment?
Hockey is getting better. But what I do notice is out with the normal sizing, so out with the norm, the regular fitting, if you're looking for a taper in certain models, or if you're looking for a wider fitted boot in certain models, or if you're looking, I've noticed that some of the helmets have went out of stock recently, and that's purely to do with, if we look back, say 10 years ago, we always had current products right up until the new currents released. Plentiful. And then the old products would go on to clearance and they would overlap and they would roll on for some time. So that you would find you would get a lot of good bargains for your customers and they run up to the following Christmas after the new products had been released. However, that doesn't happen that way anymore. Suppliers are not buying as much and they're not stocking as much in their warehouses as they used to do. And I understand the reasoning to it. Carrying products are expensive if you're not shifting them quickly. Warehouse space is expensive. Everything's expensive. So they're cutting down the space that they need. They're cutting down on what they're carrying and how much of it they're carrying. They're relying on their manufacturers and warehouses in Europe to have as a backup. So when you have a skate model, for example, a customer that's just phoned, he was looking for a Vapor, I can't even remember the model, around about Christmas time, and there was none in stock. Couldn't get them for months. I've now put them into the new model, which will be the Fly 30, which will hopefully be in this coming week for him. But he's had to wait that time because there just wasn't any of them. So because the outward going skate was the Vapor, the sizes and the models, particularly at the lower price points, 2 entry set price points, they disappeared pretty quickly. All that was left with you was unusual sizes, unusual width fittings, taper fits. There was a lot of taper fits available. You get a taper fit, but you couldn't get a regular fit. Things like that. So you don't get as much available product. It will happen again this year. After Christmas, once we break the back of Christmas, January, February, March, where you still feel that you should have enough product, the outward going skate will be a Supreme, the outward going skate will be a Tax. You will start to see that certain sizes will be out of stock. Your regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill 7s, 7.5, 8s, 8.5s, they disappear as the first ones. Then you're left with bigger sizes or smaller sizes. And then once, because suppliers don't carry a lot of bigger sizes, they go quickly as well. So they don't have an awful lot of stock, so a lot of it goes out of stock really, really quickly. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Kind of answers it in a 6 minute and 13 seconds kind of window. I'm glad that you've iterated that to the customers, that there is obviously supply issues with not just the figure skates.
I wouldn't go as far as to call it as a supply issue.
Well, for me, it's a supply and demand. Someone's basically made an order for a pair of figure skates, and then you're having to wait 18 months. There's a supply issue. Then they're not in stock with the suppliers, so there's a supply issue. You're then waiting on the manufacturer making it, so there's a manufacturer issue. You've then got to wait 18 months to be able to get a new pair of skates. So we actually have a customer that's been coming into us for the last couple of years, who buys a brand new pair of skates, and as soon as she gets them, buys another one. on the waiting list, because by the time that her skates are ready, she'll be ready to move into another pair. You remember
that's Jan.
Jan?
Jan's skates don't have a production date yet. Because she's in a defect.
But this is obviously the upsetting thing, is there isn't many stores in the UK that will hold these skates, unfortunately, because it's dead stock. You're having to spend megabucks to basically stock your store to be able to keep something in stock just in case someone wants it. That's not necessarily the best business model, because it strangles your cash flow.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's where calling it a supply issue, it's not an issue because it's just the way things are done now. In the past it would have been an issue, but now it's just expected that this is the way everybody functions now. Let's talk about IDEA specifically. So you have a lot of people that come to the sport from having had different backgrounds and getting their products and those other backgrounds quickly and effectively come to figure skate and they go, well, I want a fly and I want it now. Well, that's not how it works. That's genuinely not how it works. Our supplier doesn't keep flies. They don't even have a couple of models on the shelf. You're relying on manufacturer, and as we've already said, manufacturing takes at the moment a minimum of 6 months. It used to be a minimum of 6 weeks. Now we're a minimum of 6 months to 12 months is the standard turnaround. And you're trying to explain this to a customer and they're saying, she's taking the absolute out of me. She wants my money and she's going to steal it and she's not going to give them the skates. That's totally not the case. We have to order the special orders. We have to take a guarantee that you're not going to cancel your order, which many have done on us, because once we have put our order through our supplier to IDEA, we're now in the queue for that model of skates. It becomes increasingly difficult, if not impossible, for us to then cancel that order the longer it progresses up the queue. It's already been scheduled or put on the production list to receive a production date. If you order a fly in the March and then you come to me in the August and say, I can't wait any longer, which I totally understand, can't wait any longer, I want my money back, I have to refund you your money back. I'm still on the hook for the boot that you've put me in the queue for, that I've waited from March, April, May, June, July, August to be into production. It hits production and I'm stuck with a fly in a whatever size that I will have to take because my supplier is already on the hook for it. I'm already on the hook for it, but you've had a refund. And I totally understand that you're thinking, I've waited 5 months, I've waited 6 months, I can't wait any longer, my daughter needs these boots. This is when I try very hard to say, when you order these boots, you are aware there isn't a minimum wait time. We always say of 12 weeks because that's the guidelines that IDEA gives us. It's never 12 weeks, and my emails always say, however, estimated timelines are more between 6 to 12 months. Are you okay to wait this time? Everybody else says, yeah, because it'll never be me. I'll never wait 6 to 12 months. And then we've got Hannah waiting 18 months before she's got a production date. We've got everybody else that doesn't have a production date yet. We've got Paul who's wanting his black flies to start the season off in September, and he'll be lucky if he sees them this side of Christmas. I don't understand the problem of production with IDEA. I don't understand why they don't employ more people or increase their productivity. I don't understand. You ask the supplier, what's the problem? And they say, it's because IDEA is too popular. It's too popular, employ more people, but then that would take more of their revenue, that would take more of their profit margin off the table because they'd have to employ more people. They would have to get a bigger factory to do it all in, and they don't want to do that. They want to keep more money.
That's unfortunate. And the battery's just about to die, so I'm going to go and change the battery. So battery changed, and while we were talking about this whole aspect of the orders and stuff like that, we had an order for a pair of skates. The customer will remain nameless. The customer had went on and ordered a special order of a pair of Graf hockey boots. And what happened with regards to this one was the customer was told how long it was going to take to get the skates, and she said that she had to have them on a deadline. We were told by the supplier that they were going to be here in time. The order then was coming in on the Tuesday, and the customer couldn't make it up on the Tuesday and complained that she wanted a full refund. So she was issued a full refund. We were then stuck with the skates. She had told us that she could get them elsewhere, and she could get them elsewhere cheaper, and she could get them quicker than what we could get them for her. And lo and behold, when the customer actually went to try and go to a different store to get them, she was told it was a 6 to 8 week waiting list to get this model of skate, and then had to come back cap in hand and basically ask if we still had the skates, which of course we still had the skates, but luckily we didn't sell them. We had the opportunity to sell them, but we didn't, just in case. And the customer come back to us and we obviously fulfilled the order.